Hey everyone, Greg here from the Laser Channel where we learn, create, and share. And today I have the Monport 40W Pro machine and I've got two mirrors on here that are laser etched. So I'm going to be replacing all three mirrors. Once that's complete, I'm going to double check that all the mirrors are still in alignment. This machine currently has all the mirrors in alignment, so it's going to be interesting to see if just changing the mirrors out throws them out of whack just a little bit. With that covered, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the power cord from the machine, guaranteeing that power won't accidentally come on while I'm working inside of the machine. From here, I'm just going to start with mirror number 1 and remove and replace that mirror. Mirror number 1 is located in the laser tube area, and I can remove this top cover completely out of the way. I can now use a needle nose pliers and spread that out and get it hooked up to the little slots on the back and loosen up that ring. Loosen this up. I'll put some gloves on as soon as I start getting near where I'm going to handle the mirrors, whether they're old ones or new ones. Never know when I might be in a pinch and have to reuse an old mirror, even if it is laser etched. If I can't get that mirror out, I don't want to touch the front side of it, so I'll use some blue painter's tape and make a little stickum. Roll that tape up on itself, press it on the back side, and that pops that mirror out. Here's a close-up. We've got a little laser etch mark in about the middle of the mirror. This mirror measures out exactly at 20 millimeters. Here I've got one of the new mirrors in this foil package. And inside of that, it is wrapped with some lint-free paper. And even with the gloves on, I still want to just handle the mirror by the outside edges. Check that out. That is one of the cleanest mirrors I've ever seen. They should always be this clean and this reflective. I'll take the ring nut with the two slots facing towards me, and by hand I'll slowly start turning that in. Once it's finger tight, I can use the pliers to get that last little bit of tight. Just has to be snugged up, not super tight. Mirror number 1 is all set, and now I can move on to mirror number 2. One of the nice things on the Pro machine is this handy access panel on the side. 4 screws is all that's needed to remove the panel. Now I've got access to inside the machine. This will be the same thing as mirror number 1. I'll use a needle nose plier to align the tips up to the slots of that ring nut on the back, get that loosened up, then use my fingers to get that ring nut off the rest of the way. And same as before, I'll take some of that blue painter's tape, grab a little piece of that, roll it on top of itself, and then I can dab this on the back of that mirror number 2 and safely remove that mirror, where I can now handle it by the outside edge. I'll see if I can catch the reflection just right. We're going to see that this mirror also has a couple etched marks onto it, so definitely needs replacing. And by the way, I'm taking the old mirrors and I'm putting it back in the same paper and foil pack just for safe use for future. If I ever really get in a pinch of this mirror, is going to reveal that this is absolutely clean and ready for install. If I need to, I can grab that piece of tape and attach it to the back of the mirror. Get that installed up in there. That looks good. And again, I never want to touch the front of the mirror. And the gloves that I have on, even though I'm not touching the lens mirror surface itself, it's also more of a reminder not to touch my oily face and then touch one of the mirrors inadvertently. Once it's tightened by hand, I'll take the needle nose pliers, once again lining it up to the slots, and I'm just going to give it just a little tightening nudge with this. Not a whole lot is needed. That one's all set, and now I can move on to mirror number 3. And finally, mirror number 3. Definitely around mirror number 3, I do want to be careful around this linear rail that's going to be all full of grease. I don't want to get that on my blue gloves and then inadvertently transfer it over to that mirror. Same as before, and I run that needle nose pliers and get that ring nut loosened up just enough, and then I can use my finger to turn it out the rest of the way. This mirror looks pretty good. I'm gonna mark this one as clean when I put it back in the bag, but I'm gonna replace it anyway since I have a full matching set of 3 mirrors. And just a little snug tightness on there is all that's needed. There, all the mirrors are replaced on the machine. Next to me, I've got the soft hum of the water pump, so I can now power up the laser machine and from the control panel, test pulse the laser onto some targets and make sure that everything is aligned. Now the target that I'm going to use is not going to be blue painter's tape, which is what a lot of people use. I find that that painter's tape, the residue on that painter's tape, when I burn through that tape, that smoke residue has a strong tendency of clinging to the mirror. You know, the mirrors that we just replaced that are as clean as they're ever going to be, and I don't want to risk getting that smoke residue on those. So instead, what I like to use is a scrap little piece of wood. On the back side, I put some double-sided tape, and that double-sided tape is going to stick to the nice mirror brackets that are found on the Pro machine. Now let's take a look at how I'm going to check if the machine mirrors are still in alignment. Here's my method for checking if the machine even needs the mirror alignment. What I'll do is I'll put a target on mirror number 3 and I bring that into the near position to the laser tube. We'll pulse this from the control panel. From there, I'll move this to the farthest position. And then we'll test pulse it one more time. If those 2 dots line up into one concentric circle, then everything's good and I don't need to do a full mirror alignment. If they're off, I'll need to go through and check the entire system. I'll move this a little bit closer, and I've got my first wooden target with some double-sided tape on the back side. And I'll stick that on mirror assembly number 3. I'm going to move this to the near position and close the lid for safety. Now on the control panel, this is the one time that I adjust this dial. It's normally turned all the way up. I'm going to turn this all the way down and then just up a little bit. And then from here, I can hit the test pulse. I want to just see some type of a number show up on the display. I didn't have anything that showed up, so I'll turn the dial up a little bit more. I thought I heard something, and I'll check it out. No, I don't see anything on the target yet, so I'll close the lid one more time, and I'll turn that up. There we go. I've got a nice round dot, which is also a good sign of a good, healthy laser tube. I'll move that to the far position. We'll take a look at that first dot that we just put down. There's the first test pulse. I'll remount the camera and we'll do the second far test pulse. Second test pulse. That looks perfect, and I don't need to go through a full mirror alignment. One thing I do want to have on mirror number 3 above all the other mirrors is I do want that test dot to land exactly in the middle. So we're going to take a look at the side here, and that's landing basically in the middle. And we'll switch over and find a straight on view to make sure that we're pretty much centered up. And I think that looks pretty good. We are off center just a little bit. Let me peel this back. So we were off just a little bit. We'll actually do another test pulse down at the output there, and we'll see if that all looks good as well. Here's that test pulse, and I have a nice clean dot. So everything on this machine looks great, and I can start creating some projects. Well, that was pretty quick and easy, and one of the things that I love about the smaller 40-watt machine size is actually the smaller work area. The adjustments on the mirrors aren't nearly as sensitive as they are on a much larger machine. Now, the last thing I want to do here is go back over to the control panel and make sure I turn this little control dial up all the way. That manual control for the laser output, I want to have that turned up all the way here because I'm going to control that power level of the laser through my software, whether it's Lightburn or any of the other software packages out there on today's market. Well, I think that wraps it up for this video. I hope that this will help you out. If it did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, or ring that notification bell. Not only is it a great way to help the laser channel grow, it's an awesome way to connect video content like this with great viewers just like you. Well, until we meet again in the next video, learn, create, and share.